All right, good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Morning, Gilles.
Good morning, Gilles.
Good morning. Need to stop that. Change that. There we go. And the screen's ready. All right. So I should have been ready before saying good morning, but today is Friday, June 12th. IPO, SpaceX IPO day will be very interesting to watch. It's incredible that everybody's talking about it. I've never heard of an IPO having this much attention. I'm sure that OpenAI and Anthropic will have a lot of attention as well, but SpaceX will be incredible to watch today. I don't know if anybody got in on some shares pre-IPO. I know that a lot of brokers had some shares available. So, as far as the calendar is concerned, there are no 3-star important news events today. 5 things to know before the market opens. I checked earlier, just basically the same thing. The stock futures are rising after yesterday's huge gains. SpaceX, Adobe, I believe they had earnings. Shares are falling this morning. It's by better than expected quarterly results. Yeah, that often happens. NVIDIA starts pitching Vera CPUs to China. And that's about it for that. In financial juice, I thought this was interesting, that the claim of signing the agreement on Sunday in Geneva is pure falsehood. So the market's been absolutely wicking up and down on news about this U.S. and Iran talks and supposed agreement. And then memorandum of understanding with the U.S. is under internal review. So there's things going on, but hard to tell what's the truth and what is not. So we have these massive moves. This is M&Q. Yesterday, I was looking at a possible retrace, right, for the short. We were looking short here, short here. I was looking at the possibility of getting in short, and then this exploded up. So glad I was not involved in this. And then it gave a little bit of a pullback. So for those that trade the break and retest, and the market is open, so whoever is trading the open, good luck. But on news, this was on a 5-minute candle, so we broke out. And then we came back and retested this zone of prior resistance. So there's the breakout, there's the retest. On the 1 or 2 minute, there might have been an entry here for the continuation long, right? If you've got the stomach to be able to trade these news events, or tweet events, I should call them, or truth social events. This morning, we've been in M&Q, been in a range. I am not planning on doing much this morning. I want to see what happens at these levels. I already have an alert set at the top for M&Q. I want to see what it does at the bottom of the range here, so I could set an alert here as well. MES was interesting that we broke out of this pre-market range, yesterday's high as well as a pre-market high. Retested a little bit lower than I like, but once it started making new highs here, it did go up and make a few R's, right? If you had an entry for something like this, this is on the 5-minute, but let's say an entry here with a stop below the previous candle, aim for 3, and it barely made it or almost made it to 3R before pulling back. So that was a little bit on lower volume, a little bit of a breakout and retest. Retested again. This probably would have caught a lot of people, right? Because it's showing a breakout. Retest a little bit lower, but then a breakout and retest again. But now it's just trading in this range. So for me, I need to know when it comes above here, or if it makes it below this wick, then I'll start looking at it. MGC, The 4100 level is definitely an area of interest. I think a lot of people are trading it, or the price was accepted at 4100, and from there it just took off. Nice breakout and retest yesterday at the 50 for long. So this breakout on the same news yesterday. So there's the breakout, there's the 50% retracement, and then the continuation. And now price is just chopping in a zone here. Don't know what. Sorry, just got a text from my daughter. Yeah. Awesome. So alert on MES at the bottom of the range. So are we selling, or are we just finding buyers down here, getting close to yesterday's close? Bit of a double bottom, right? If you consider this a top, and this, testing out whether we can find some buyers over here. I do not consider this a double bottom because price was just there. It hasn't really come from the top, right? For it to be a double bottom, it needs to come from a higher place, then put in two bottoms. But this is not really a bottom. It's just sideways. Right? So putting in a fair value gap from the tops here, there's definitely room to the left. So we'll see this area here, today's high, just below yesterday's high, could be an area of resistance. So we are selling right now. If I were to get onto a smaller time frame, I am not going to trade this, but this would be an interesting area right here. Right? So from the open, we were selling, came down here, and these scalpers out there, this might be an interesting place to decide what to do. Will it reject this area? Right? And if you are, then you can short. If you get an entry, stop at the 61.8 and aim for 3. Right there. Now, I don't trade this the first 15 minutes. It's only 6 minutes right now, but that's the model. And it does look like it's going to make a new high. Just looking at price action right now, just to share what it is that I like to see. I like to see it spike in and reject quickly. Right now it's staying there, but a limit entry right now, not right now, but when it printed right over here with a stop above works often, but it doesn't work every time. So you have to be okay with that, as long as when you take a winner, it is larger than your losers. And I always demonstrate 1 to 3. So let's see what happens here. Hmm.
we're opening in a very tricky place, Jill, today. After the big move yesterday, after the news, the pullback is not deep enough. So do we have, on the bigger picture, on the 1 hour time frame, I'm looking at gold. It's kind of very tricky.
Yep, it's in a tricky range, right? When you see this choppiness right here, where price is right now, there's no room to the left, right? Price has been there. So as soon as I look at something like that, I am not interested until maybe at this level here, right? Over here, I'd put a level, right? And I would put an alert. I want to know what will price do when it gets over here, because at this point you're starting to see room to the left, especially that I'm on the 1 hour right now. If I was on the 5 minute, then you'd say, okay, right around here. Sorry, where did I put the level? Yeah, right around here, there's room to the left, right there. But on the 1 hour, where you're looking at right now, it's just a choppy mess. So the other level I'd be curious at is at the bottom. So there you go. So alert at the top, alert at the bottom. I do nothing in between. But that's me. I mean, there's scalpers on the 1 minute time frame that can see patterns and take smaller moves. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Tarek. I've got these levels here on when I go to the 1 minute time frame, you can see that there's room to the left below this level. That's the most recent level here. So that might be an interesting level, but I'd rather leave it on the 5. And the alert, actually, I would put over here. I want to see what will it do. It definitely found buyers and support over here. Right? Do we find it again? And from a fibs point of view, we have a 5 minute fair value gap that started right over here and then started buying right here. So you move it right, and we've closed above the 61.8. So for the, whoa, something's going on. MCL spiking, MNQ dropping, MES dropping. And let's see, how long will it take for this to update and give us some news? I'm assuming it's news. It might just be a spike. Might be trapping some shorts here. But all the alerts are going off. There's the drop. So what happens here? What happens here? That's a 2 minute time frame. Do we find support where we had support earlier? 4208 area. Hard to go long after a massive candle like that. Anybody has news on the news? Let me know. Iran leaked terms do not match written agreement. Yeah. I want to see what happens at the lows here, pre-market low. Yes, and if anybody has SpaceX on their charts, and if they go live, please let me know. I'm sure something will be said in Financial Juice over here, that IPO, that the IPO was live. Here's my alert on MNQ. So from the selling in pre-market right here to this low, right? This low right here, we retraced almost to 50. So whenever you see this drop and then a retrace and then a further drop, right, if it continues, then I would take this. I would start, actually, it's easier if I just restart it. I would draw new fibs at where we retraced into close to the 50, and I would stop it wherever we find a swing low. Predicted to be visible at 950. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Crude spiked up. I have a level here on crude right at the top here. Right, top of the pre-market range. Set an alert. Right there. Take off some of these lines. And this is something I was sharing this morning. There we go. So if this were to spike up and take liquidity out here, especially in the next 10, 15 minutes, then it might be a short back down to the lows. But difficult to take a trade on this when either side could be sending out a tweet or press release, and then you get moves like this. Anybody looking at anything? Trump or on leaked terms? Yeah, thank you for sharing, Tarek. Yeah, if anybody's looking at anything else. INTC, that's a kangaroo tail rejection right here. I took out liquidity above yesterday's high. Right, so right over here, wick is difficult to place a short here because that is quite the stop loss. But let's see if that's the stop. Can we get to 3? Yeah, 3 is definitely below the low of day. Right, but this is my kangaroo tail reversal. I call it mine, but it's straight from Forex, naked Forex. I know that Parsa was talking about kangaroo tails yesterday, right? So there's a kangaroo tail reversal, and then there's kangaroo tail continuations. Kangaroo tail continuation is called the trendy kangaroo. But yeah, if anybody else has read that book, please don't hesitate to share your thoughts. So we are getting down lower here. Just take this out. On 1 minute time frame, I don't see it as being a liquidity sweep. Right, this kangaroo tail here needs to be a quick drop down and then a move back up. Let's look at INTC here like this. If I go to the 2 minute, yeah, we had a few candles that rejected up here. But on the 5, it definitely looks like it popped up and then came down. Did not close near the lows. I prefer when the close of the kangaroo tail rejection closes near the lows and then makes an automatic and sudden move down. So here we closed a little bit. We left a little wick at the bottom, and then we opened it a tiny bit higher. Right? So it's not my ideal entry for a kangaroo tail short. If this candle closes green like it looks like it is and makes a new high, if I were short, I'd be getting out of the position because this is a trendy kangaroo. which means that the trend is going higher. We pull back, so it's like a break, retest, and then move higher. Still another minute and a half, so we are going to make a new high here. My non-advice prediction. Time's at 9:48. Leave that on there for a minute. So IPO is 135, I believe. Actually, I'll put it on my other screen here. Yeah, ugly price action. Yep, digesting the late move from yesterday. Yeah, and good morning, Evil.
I would agree with Hamza. I'm just so over these tweets and war and just like back and forth, back and forth. It's just making the market go like a yo-yo from 1 minute to the next.
Yeah.
What the market wants to do.
Terms that Iran leaked out of the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. What they said, including their weak and pathetic statement on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonorable people to deal with.
You guys hear me?
Yeah. Now
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Hamza, your audio.
There we go. Yeah,
now we
sorry.
hear you.
Yeah, I was just seeing somebody put out this statistic that I think the record for these deadline day going long on deadline day has been 100% since the war started.
Going long on deadline day tweets?
Yeah. So basically going long, you know, when he says that this is the deadline, and if by then they don't agree, then we are gonna do this or whatever. Going long on that day has yielded, I think, something like 100% record on SPY 0 DTE options or something.
Yeah, I'd love to be watching options during these. If you can get an entry on this in options, people are absolutely printing money on these moves here. So anyway, I'm going to continue trading the way that I trade. And so the bottom here was retested. Right? We are approaching 10 a.m. So be curious to see what, do we start? The only way that I would take a trade here long is if we had an impulse move. So a large move, a mismatch in price or fair value gap, excuse me, and the retest of it for the continuation long.
Hey, Gilles, if I'm not mistaken, isn't there a news drop like Michigan consumer sentiment at 7 o'clock or something like that?
I looked at it. Where's my screen here? Oh, right here.
I thought I heard something to that effect.
Yeah, there is, but it's only as far as investing.com. They only give it a 2-star importance level.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually only look at the 3 stars for US.
Okay.
Right. So that's according to them, and according to the way that I've found that most of the time a 2-star importance does not have that much impact on the market, but it could. So it's a good thing to know if you're in a trade or that's coming out in 5 minutes at 10 a.m. So yeah, thanks for sharing. Financial Juice has it on the side here as well. I don't like their filter because I tried to filter out Japan and other things because there's just too much information here. For June 12th. What do we got here? Yeah, there's not much as far as their information over here. I don't know. I thought somebody was saying something there.
No, sorry, that's just me. I've got
Oh.
a tickle.
No worries. No worries. So yeah, very subdued. I think there's a lot of people glued to their monitors to look at SpaceX. I don't know if you guys have it on your platforms. On TradingView, nothing's come up yet.
It's the same on Interactive Brokers. There's no data feed yet.
No data. Okay. So it's usually, but most IPOs come out in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on my big screen and sit on the sofa and watch it.
I love that because you know what? It's absolutely something I would do, and my wife would think I'm out of my mind.
Do you know what would be great if you could listen to like the live pick session as it's happening? People calling out the numbers.
Yep.
It'd be like being at the racehorses.
Yep. Yeah, I would love that. It's definitely, it's entertaining, right? Especially if you know what you're looking at, right? So to the layperson, to my wife, looking at these charts, you have no idea what they mean, right? And no disrespect to her, she just doesn't have any interest in this stuff, and you know, doesn't understand it. But you know, to us, you know, you look at something like this and you understand that there's hundreds of millions of dollars being exchanged here, and some people are making crap loads and some people are losing, right? If you don't have a stop in here and you're short, good luck. And then you look at this and you go, the options market is, you know, probably 10 to 50 times X of this move. Zero DTE options, I should say. So, way too many levels here.
Whenever I hear zero DTE, I just hear like a doomsday countdown in my head. Like danger.
Yeah. You know what? If you have good risk management, what I do here in options can be incredibly profitable. But at the end of the day, you have to have good, proper risk management and just good stops. I stopped trading options at the end of 2025. And I would love to see what these massive moves do on the options market. I haven't looked at an options chain in months. I got out of it because of these long, right? You can be correct on the direction, but if it takes too long because of time decay, you'll be taken out of the trade. But you're correct. You're correct on everything, on direction, on size and everything. And then it takes too long. But can you imagine taking a trade, a long here if you have a setup? I mean, this is absolutely explosive. And the way that Avi trades, holy crap, man. There's incredible amounts of money that can be made in this type of tweet market. So there's the alert on MCL. It is at a level of interest. So that's where I start watching. Right? Is it breaking out of this level? Do we get a breakout? And right now, I'd say no. Most recent high was 87.05. And we have not broken out of 87.05. The high of this candle is 87.05. So we haven't broken out of the most recent high. Come on. 87.05 still the high. All right. So we're having a hard time getting above 87.05 here. So the resistance is still working for the time being. So what will the next candle do? Let's zoom in here. There you go. So we've got 06, maybe capturing some longs because it just went up a penny. So it's definitely not a breakout as of yet. As far as fibs, the most recent move is the impulse move is higher. This would have worked. Right? Let me just put this in here. Right? The reason I'm putting my start here is we broke out of a level right around here. So this was the candle that broke out of the level. So that's where I started it. I stopped it at this wick. What did the next candle do? Or not the next candle, but the following candle. Right there.
Right on 50.
There we go. Sorry, that's where I like having the candle that broke out of the range. This is the candle that broke out of the most recent resistance, right? Which was here. This is the candle. I start my fib at the bottom of that candle, bottom of the wick, take it to the high. It pulled back into the golden zone and making new highs. If this becomes a breakout, then I would move it to where it pulled back into the 50, and I would put this wherever we make a new high. And if I were to go short here, I'd want to get to profit before getting into the golden zone, which with something like this would not be possible for me in my strategy. So questions, comments, please don't hesitate. Nothing on SpaceX. We are still within the opening range on MNQ and MES.
3560. Shit.
Yeah. Your mic is on, Evo, just in case.
Sorry about that.
Okay. That's all right.
I took a loser on LUNR's reversal, so just got whacked.
M2K is definitely strong, stronger than the rest.
This on MES is interesting, right? The latest impulse move is on the downside, retracing into the golden zone over here. $73.90, $73.96. Sorry, Hamza, you were talking about M2K. There goes M2K, very close to early morning resistance. So possible resistance here at pre-market high. This is where I'd want to start looking at it.
It's interesting. I think the Russell is going to be the first one to include this SpaceX IPO. I think it's on 18th of June, 6 days from now. So maybe it's catching a bit of the hype early.
I didn't know that was announced already that it's going to be part of the Russell. I think I read something this morning that some ETFs have been told this morning not to include SpaceX until Monday.
Yeah, I think they have to. The mandatory inclusion for them is I checked on Google. I think it's Thursday, 18th June. Something like that. When is SpaceX?
Thursday? Yeah, and by the way, that's just for those who are paying attention. I just read the headline. I didn't read the entire article, so I'm not quite sure what was included in that. But I did read a headline this morning that talked about that some ETFs are going to be told to wait until Monday, as well as leverage 2x not until Monday. Thank you for sharing, Will. Would I consider trading SpaceX today? Absolutely not. So, no, I would not consider it. SpaceX, it's impossible to short, right? You won't be able to find shares to short. It's like a low float on IPO day. So I don't trade stuff like that. There's other ways to make money, right? And as far as an investment, an investment needs to prove itself, and nothing's been proven with SpaceX. It definitely has potential, and it's interesting. And it's funny because in their filings, the massive moneymaker is not SpaceX. It's their AI. It's XAI is where they are planning on making the most income. But the only profitable part right now is SpaceX and their satellite, their Starlink. But it will be interesting to watch. So there you go. I put this on here as the impulse move from the open. However, it has gone up over here, but I will put it to the most recent high. All right, so now I will move it, and I am going to see, okay, so if we take all of this into consideration, now we're still in the 50.
Gold is testing low of the day, tested the low of the day and started buying from it.
Yeah, a little bit of a double bottom here. You know, big move up, but then just, I mean, these big green and red candles and then another green. I mean, this is a battle between buyers and sellers. I can't tell who is in control. Therefore, it's no bueno for me. Right? It's also in a very large fair value gap from the opening. It might be buying from here, but as of this second, I cannot tell who's in control. M2K. M2K making new highs. So I want to see, I'd love to see this breakout here. And then on the retest, it might give an entry. But on this breakout right here, we can tell that it broke out of most recent resistance right here. And we can tell that these were wicks over here, but on this candle, we broke out of it. So breakout, that was the most recent high, right? Move it right, came into the golden zone and took off from there. 50% retracement, folks. That's why I have it on my chart and trade it all the time. Well, somebody's going to say, why didn't I take this? Because I'm talking to you fine folks. And I'm not trusting much right now. I don't know if anybody else is looking at taking trades here. Will, have you noticed that I've left the 9 EMA on my chart here? Interesting to have it on there. I used to have it on, and then when I went to naked trading, I took it off. And then while recording something the other day, I put it back on, and I don't hate having it on, especially the 9 EMA, the exponential moving average. It's obvious to see that we are staying above the 9 EMA. So it just helps to determine that the trend is up. Come on, SpaceX, start on there while we're on this morning. I don't know if Parsa is coming on after me. I believe he is. So he might have it on at 10:30. Breaking news, SpaceX first trade indicated around 175 per share ahead of the opening. I'll call it right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see SpaceX at 300 today. Obviously not trading advice. I just remember
What price is it open?
135.
Okay. So
sorry, go ahead.
I reckon the spread will probably be like at least 150
or more.
Maybe more, yeah.
Yeah, Cerebras, when it IPO'd at 185 a couple weeks ago. Remember, we talked about it. That was the IPO. But it opened at 351. That was Cerebras. I've had Cerebras on my calendar beside here for over a year to start looking at it. And it IPO'd, it opened at 351. But the IPO price was at 185. And I remember talking about this in the morning. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 400. 385.
How is SpaceX any different to the other rocket companies that already exist? Is there anything special about them?
About SpaceX? Well, they're successful. They're right. They can consistently launch and innovate and send rockets, and they've got contracts with NASA and other companies. The profitable part of their business is Starlink, which is incredible as far as having access to the internet from anywhere around the world. But SpaceX includes XAI, and it includes Twitter, right? Or X.
Oh, right. Okay, I get it. So you're not just buying a space company, you're buying much more than that. Brian, they catch rockets out of the sky.
They do, and that's how incredible is that?
What do you mean, like?
They can land and reuse rockets. And Brian, go ahead and turn your mic on if you want. But yeah, they launch rockets, and they can relaunch them. Within their plan is to relaunch within a few hours to be able to send materials to the moon, first of all. And it is part of their mandate that they are planning on populating Mars. But now, I mean, the big thing is yeah, I know. And that's Elon Musk said years ago that he would never go public because he knew that having to answer to shareholders with that funny idea of wanting to populate Mars. But obviously he's changed his mind since then and decided to go public. But it is part of their mandate, that it is part of the long-term plan, is to send people to Mars and make life planetary in his words. So yeah, Blue Origin also has rockets, but they're not on the same level as what SpaceX is doing right now. They might be, and competition is great.
If I am going to live on another planet, I don't think I'd want it to be Mars. It looks pretty dull.
Yeah, but I mean, these people have incredible ideas of possibly creating an atmosphere and making it actually livable. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go there either.
It wouldn't be pretty.
Yeah, but they have people signed up already. They've had people signed up for years now to be among the first to go to Mars.
Yeah.
So what did Lunar do? Lunar dropped. I'm very curious. I've had Lunar on my little board beside my computer for years. Used to talk about this in high school. Yeah, it's interesting. In high school, as in the high school I taught in, I taught international business marketing and entrepreneurship, and in some of those courses, we would talk about Lunar. And let's go to the daily. Right around this time. Right, when was that? 23. Yeah, right before I retired, we talked about this this company. This was just a insane. Right after the GME, GameStop, and AMC, and Lunar was one of them. Right,
Pump and dump.
Yeah, pump and dump. But it definitely has interest. It has eyes on it. I know, Will, you're looking at this as well. I would be very curious, and more for an investment. Be curious to see what happens at this level. Right, former resistance became support in this area. Will it be support again? Are they a possibility for an acquisition for a company like SpaceX? And Hamza, that's the other thing that there are a lot of rumors and a lot of people saying that Tesla is going to become a part of SpaceX.
So then your car won't say Tesla anymore. It'll just say X on it.
Yeah, don't know if they would change the name or anything, but
I think they're going to have to wrap Tesla into something else one day, just to, because the hype's gone now.
Yeah, I don't know. With there is a lot of Teslas on the road, and there's a lot of innovation coming with their full self-driving. And then Tesla also has their robot division and their solar division. So will they try to wrap that all into one?
In terms of cars, they are just not going to be able to compete with the stuff that comes out of China now.
BYD?
The price point difference is just so big.
I was in Australia last year. We don't have BYDs in Canada, but I was in Australia in 25. Yeah, it was last year, December, January. And the BYDs that they have there are incredible. It's like futuristic. They're beautiful, amazing cars. Took one as an Uber. So I was in one, and you feel like you're inside a little computer. It's very, very cool. And like you said, their price point is it's very competitive or very cheap compared to what they can do, what Tesla's priced at.
Yes, here in the UK, all these years, the most popular cars were always like European cars. The
BMW, Mercedes, Peugeot.
Yeah, but now I think it's the JQ. I don't know if you've heard of JQ, but they are everywhere here. So it's JAECOO.
JAECOO. No, I've never seen that. JQ Premium Export SUV being established in Chinese automaker Chery Automobile, globally outside of China, alongside sister brand Omoda. JQ focuses on urban off-road vehicles featuring neo-luxury styling, often compared to a small Range Rover. Yeah, I see the picture here. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's these sorts of things that are really taking over in terms of the most common vehicles that you'll see on the road now.
I would not want to be holding on to this.
Yeah, I don't see many Fords anymore, to be honest.
Yeah. Or General Motors.
When I was young, you'd always see Ford Focus everywhere in the UK. this small hatchback.
Chrysler is what is it? Daimler, or are they? Yeah, I don't know how to get the ticker for Chrysler anymore. It's
There's Stellantis, I believe now.
still, and that's what it is. Yeah. Still, am I not spelling it right? Is it two L's? Stellantis. Anyway, whatever. You understand that it's just these North American companies. They're not they're definitely not keeping up with the style and luxury and with the electric vehicles like other companies are. So
I'll be honest, in my area here, you know, they did that big deal with Hyundai. So I actually drove past it last year going on vacation. It is one of the largest factories I've ever seen. And there's two of them, one on each side of the interstate, Hyundai, and the other one's Kia. Of course, they're kind of commingled. And
both South Korean, I think.
yeah. And here you're seeing tons of their Santa Fe's and the Kona hybrids, their Ioniq 6s.
Yeah, we have a lot of those here as well.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've seen quite a few more Rivians than I expected. A lot of the pickup trucks and SUVs, those things are gorgeous.
Yeah, they look nice. I've only seen one Rivian. There's none here, but yeah, I did really like the look of it.
Beautiful vehicle. You know, but I remember talking about this when it IPO'd. I mean, what nonsense was this?
Hey, Brian, where are you from?
I'm located in East Tennessee.
Okay. You've got a very strong accent. Is it a southern accent?
So do you, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah. Hamza,
Really?
you're the one with the accent, Hamza.
Yeah,
Dude.
no, I'm born and raised in southern U.S. So I'm North Carolina, born and raised mostly, and then moved to Tennessee in like my late teens. Been here ever since. So yeah, Alex, back in the dirty days when we'd hang out in the Discord, he used to call me his cowboy. He's like, "There's my cowboy." Like, I'm not a cowboy.
God, if you think my accent's strong, you should see people from London. Hear them. Proper Cockney.
Yeah.
It was probably 8 years ago at this point, but I had well, I didn't have them, but one of our local distributors had a brand rep from Jameson visiting. And back in the day, I was managing a gastropub. The owner was from London, and he basically stole the entire concept of the Crown and Goose and Underground and brought it to the U.S.
Mhm.
So the guy from Ireland wanted to come and do like a presentation of all their, red breast, green spot, all that stuff. So I was like, heck yeah, we'll do it. We stayed out till 4 a.m. with that guy going around downtown, and I never understand a single word that dude said all night long. Just I was like, sure. He kept buying drinks, and we had fun. So,
Have you ever heard Scouse accent?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No.
God. Even I can't understand a word they say.
Yeah. It's funny that it's the same language, but, just pronounce it differently. Like when I speak French, I have a French Canadian accent, but we were in Paris last year. My daughters had trouble understanding Parisian French, and it's the same language. Yes, we have different Julien, toi tu comprends. We have different ways of pronouncing things, but if we were to write it down, it would be exactly the same language, but their pronunciation is way different. And just with the English thing, my wife loves BritBox. Do you have that in the UK?
What's that? Sorry.
BritBox, yeah, that's what I thought. It's or you might have it there, but I think it's a North American thing that gets all the British shows. So all the crime dramas and the miniseries and movies and stuff. It's a really good. It's like Netflix, but it's all British.
Okay.
She loves watching that because her dad is British, so there's part of our heart is in London, or Exeter, I should say. That's where he's from. but I need to have the subtitles on.
Yeah.
I have to have the subtitles on when we watch BritBox, and it's just I have difficulty. English is not my first language, but with certain accents, it's hard to understand. Doctor Who, yeah.
Yeah, there's some wild ones. I think the strongest accents are probably the Scottish and the Scouse. Scouse is quite difficult to understand if you're not used to them. And I only live like an hour's drive away from them.
What is that? The last one you said?
Liverpool.
But what do you call it? Scouse?
Scouse, yeah. The Liverpool accent, they call them Scousers. So
Scouse.
their
I
accent
don't
is
think I've ever heard
Scouse.
Yeah, interesting. And then you've got the Aussie accent. Aussie is kind of English, but a little bit more slang, and they've got their own words for different things, and it's a great accent. So don't know if anybody's trading anything, but the conversation is to me is very fun and interesting.
Absolutely.
I'm not super liking it, but we do have a I mark out my first 15 minutes of NQ after the open. We broke it, didn't quite retest and pushed, and then we made a new high and we pulled back into the range, and we're kind of holding it right now. So I'm kind of just eyeing that to see if we can get a real attempt to hold the upper end and push.
Yeah, we have to.
Surprisingly enough, this is going to make Tark probably have a heart attack or a stroke or both. I don't have a single trade yet. Oddly enough, that's pretty insane for me. The last 2 weeks have been a unique realization for me, in the sense of, I really did a lot of. My wife went to Italy for a week, and I had a lot of time to myself to actually have some quiet and think. And I started just looking back through my journal for the last. I started trading futures in January, so that's the extent of my experience. And exactly what you said with options is what got me here. Tired of being right and wrong. Like, it's the most counterproductive thing, period. And but I found myself like getting back in that mentality of when I first started trading, where I just like in, out, in, out, in, out. And I even spoke one time about maybe even potentially trading my like social media handles. I got Daily Scalper as my handle. And I think maybe I've kind of like, I don't know, maybe subconsciously put my trading into that title to a degree. So long story short, I took a week and was like, look, we got to do this differently. Like, I'm not doing terrible, but I'm literally aiming for the stars with this stuff. I'm not trying to make $100 a day trading 10 trades, So the last 2 weeks, and now granted, given the macro and market conditions, it's been a bit easier. This sounds silly. If you're in the right location, the right time, everybody knows I'll go to break even real quick. So for me, it's been a little bit easier to make more money the last 2 weeks, because the ranges are so wide and the candles are so big. So, if you get to break even and the candle drops 70 points in 1 minute, I mean, you're golden. Why not stay in that trade? So I do have the understanding that when the market gets back to our normal type ATRs, back to 400, 500, for the range, I'll have to probably adjust, but I don't know. It helped me that time, to think and really look back through the journal and trades, and kind of just like, what are you doing? Just help me to realize, like, just stop it. Like, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, like I often say that I rarely take a trade within the first hour that I'm in here with you guys, because the moves repeat themselves, like fractal patterns that Avi talks about all the time, and the entries and the stops are way better later on in the session. So I just I just prefer to take it after 10:30. Oftentimes it's right at 10:30 or right after 10:30 that you'll see a continuation. But I often like seeing at least the first half hour, if not the first hour candle close. And then you can start seeing who's in control. And at this point right now, I have no idea. Right? So I don't put on a trade. Right, and Parsa is here, so I believe he's coming on. I think I'm going to stay on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'll stop the recording. But I'm going to hang out and see what happens if SpaceX IPOs and see what the conversation leads to. So with that, I'm out of here. I'll pass it over to Parsa.
Appreciate it, Gilles.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. It was a really good
Thanks,
conversation.
Gilles.
Fun.
Thanks, Gilles.
Day. Thank you. All right. Cheers, gang. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you on Monday.